Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the semi-final of the women's Toulouse Sevens New Zealand taking on Fijiana in what promises to be a fast-paced, hard-hitting affair between the two sides. But I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. If you are new to that channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. New Zealand for this matchup. They have got Sarah Hirini in that lineup, Portia Woodman, Niall Williams, Michaela Blyde, Kelly Brazier, Rizzi Pori Lane, and then also Hotham as the last name. New Zealand 19-14 is the prediction from Chris there. And also we have got there Robert's prediction is 25-5. 25-15 in favour of New Zealand. And New Zealand says Gita. Although the big thing is you can certainly not underestimate the way that Fiji will play in this game. They are going to be a very tough side. But looking through at the Fiji lineup for this game, it is Nagasau, Donu, Devea, also Alunisau. She's just going crazy at the moment in terms of the way that she's been playing. My voice currently is struggling. That is somewhat down to her, but also due to all the other awesome action that we have had in the last little while. Kavuru is there, Naimasi, and then also Nakothi is the last name. Petty Wagon has said hello, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And also Robert has got, yep, there. But both of these sides now rearing to go. Get them back out onto the park for another match in Toulouse. And the sun is out, the heat. It's going to be almost unbearable for some of these ladies in the later stages of this match. And also, hello, mate, been ages since I saw you. Says Betty Wagon, and I'll say, hey, Betty. See you to Robert there. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who will be the first try scorer of this game. I am going to say Michaela Blyde. Seems like a good pick. And also, I will go with Alunisau as the first try scorer for the Fijiana team. And also, but I'll go for Fiji anyways. And this is Krish. And yeah, the stage. I mean, that's the thing. I wanted this to be the final, but on the other side of the draw, Australia and also the very, very talented Irish side making their way as far as they almost ever have in the sevens in terms of the podium finish. They want to be able to make their way through to the final. And yeah, I was on Hamish's live just before. And also we were there, how you been? So here's Betty Wagon with this game about to kick off. And it will be Fiji getting us underway. Kavuru kicks it up. And this semi-final, the first of the two for the women's is underway. It's going to be bouncing up. It's a knock-on from Donu, I believe. Yes, it was. And New Zealand will now have the scrum. And also MKU. So here's a Robert there as well. Currently, I know that both of these sides out there on the park, they will be extremely nervous for this matchup. The last two meetings have been level at full time between New Zealand and Fiji. That is an absolutely incredible stat. So these two sides are about as even as it gets when it comes to the sevens. And one moment in this game as well could be the difference. Scrum feed for New Zealand now. Getting ready to feed this ball in for the Kiwis, and it stays in. And I do see that they haven't got Tyler Nathan Wong for this matchup, which is something that they haven't actually had for the whole of this series. So it will be interesting to see who does have kicking responsibilities for just this game in particular. But now Portia Woodman does drive her way up to the 50-meter line. Kelly Brazier fires it back across. It's a low pass. It looked like almost a knock-on from Sarah Hirini, but they have said it's gone backwards. Now back in the hands of, oh, that's unfortunate because Fiji have knocked that ball on. But for me, Hirini maybe had a knock on herself. And also England destroyed USA 29-14 in the men's. Says Chris, yeah, I did see that England did very nicely. So now they have booked themselves a fifth-place final playoff game up against Argentina. So we will have to wait and see what way it goes. But Alunisau not afraid to tackle Portia Woodman, who is a lot larger than her. But you'd have to say Alunisau's got maybe the bigger heart, the way that she plays there. And also Tyler's hot, no disrespect, says Nazi Williams in there as well. And New Zealand have only ever lost 2 games in France. So Brazier now running it sideways, ball on the inside to Michaela Blyde. Brilliant low tackle on her. Now looking short side, Hirini goes off the Brazier, sling and pass, trying to find a gap here. Niall Williams goes back across, of course, the sibling of Sonny Bill Williams, I believe. Now Hirini goes back to Brazier. Niall Williams having to run sideways, trying to get through that defense, but it's a nice tackle made by Fijiana once again, by Devea. Portia Woodman plays halfback. Sarah Hirini dragged down. It's a knock-on there, and it's going to become a deliberate knock-on. And unfortunately for Fiji, that is going to become a yellow card. And then also go Fijiana, says Viniana there as well. The scoreboard is slightly asleep, but hopefully it does update itself in the nearish future, because normally it takes like 1 or 2 minutes before it realizes it's come on New Zealand in this tournament. It just gets crazier and crazier, says Chris. It sure does. Like, it's probably the tournament of upsets, you'd have to say, with the amount of interesting results that we have had for ourselves. But I'm certainly not complaining because you never know who's going to win a game of sevens. And this game, after 2.5 minutes, still level at 0-0. Feed for New Zealand here. And it will be Pori Lane who puts the ball in. Well, the Kiwis hooked back. A little bit of pressure from Fiji at scrum time, but now Pori Lane tries to back herself, gives it off. Oh no, Michaela Blythe's just been cleaned up by her own teammate. And Pori Lane, she almost took her head off. And it looks like she's going to be all right, which is good news. But now Niall Williams going to be trying to outpace the Fijian defense. Still going, Niall Williams. Up to the 22. I have not seen Michaela Blythe running around too much at the moment. I'm not too sure whereabouts she is, but it is going to be the penalty now to Fiji, and they do take it quickly once again. That is exactly what we expected from them. Nakothe now goes off. See, Aluna Sal will be lurking, waiting for this ball, but first of all, it will be in the hands of Kavuru. Tries to spin, but she is dragged down by Sirahirani. Okay, Michaela Blythe, she does look like she's all right, which is good news. And also mostly because small teams beating big teams. And there says Krish with the upsets. Now, a little bit of pressure on Fiji, kicked out of the hands by Michaela Blythe, and she will score the first try of the match now for New Zealand. And that is going to be the very first try of this game. It did take 3.5 minutes plus a woman in the bin for Fiji, but Michaela Blythe scores her 7th try of Toulouse. And that will be very useful for the Kiwis, one of the Fijian players, and just waiting to see the number. I believe it was actually De Vea who just didn't quite pick that ball up quick enough. And then it did mean that Michaela Blythe was able to run in, score the try for New Zealand. It gives them now the nice, crucial early lead. And I was like, Betty, how are you going, buddy? So here's David the Mob, but that one has gone over now from Pori Lane. And New Zealand have got themselves a 7-0 lead. I do apologise about the scoreboard being quite asleep, I guess you could say, at this point in time. Maybe it did go to sleep at 11 because it is currently 11:35 p.m. here in New Zealand. But the winner of this game, they will go through to take on the winner of Ireland versus the Australians. Whoever loses this game will go on to face the loser of their match between Ireland and Australia as well. Nice offload wide to the hands of, I believe it is going to be Nagasao. She's gone into touch. And once again, it's a good tackle. In fact, it's Donu. She just made her way back out onto the field and already touching the ball. And also, come on, Fijiana with yous all day, or all the way, says Viniana there. But Donu, good tackle on her from Pori Lane, able to go low. And did manage to shut her down. That was not the best line-out throw, but it has worked out to be just straight enough for the Kiwis. Brazier now going across. Michaela Blythe's got it again. She's going to back herself on the outside for pace. And it looks like they're not going to be able to catch her, Michaela Blythe. Or, in fact, she might get caught. She did, but she still got it down for Michaela Blythe. It was a good chase in the end, but just going over through the tackle of Nakothe. And New Zealand get themselves another try. Just, tell you what, Michaela Blythe, she is quick. But Nakothe, to be beaten on the outside, then to be making up meters in the stride after her. Very impressive indeed. She almost was able to catch Michaela Blythe, but that is now her 8th try, and all good buddy going to New Zealand. Says Novman there as well, and the scoreboard, it is a little bit behind. Oh, there we go. All of a sudden it has scored up, and it is now 12-0 in favour of New Zealand. Hotham gives Michaela Blythe a forehead kiss there for her troubles. Okay, and it actually looks like Michaela Blythe is getting a head assessment. No, she's not. She's going to be all right. Thought for a second they were going to check her out because she did take massive contact earlier on. And also, Fiji will win, says Colinio, and that is the big thing. If Fiji can get a line break and a try before the end of this first half, it is certainly all on. Aluna Sal finding the offload back for the Fijianis woman. The stage 40 metres out from their line. Pori Lane trying to make the tackle there. And it has gone down now. The ball is available once again for the Fijians to use. It's a big old fend from, I believe, it would have been Kavuru, I believe it was. I don't have that ball. I've noticed that the blue and the white number really blends in on the back of the shirts for it. But now, trying to get that one back. Kelly Brazier unable to do so. Aluna Sal pops around the side of the breakdown. Fiji currently 14 seconds past the full-time, or in fact, sorry, the half-time siren, but they will continue to play for a little bit longer. Good fend there on Michaela Blythe from Kavuru, but she has been dragged down now on the halfway line. Quickly recycled for Fiji. Offload up to Donu. And Donu trying to back herself, but she's been tackled by Hotham there. Now, Fiji keeping this ball alive, looking to kick that one across. It was actually a kick pass from Fiji, and it's 3-on-1 out on the wing, but the cover was on the outside. Aluna Sal goes on the inside, and that will be the first try of the match for Fiji. And good luck to both teams. A shout out to Nani and Saki. I watch Kiwi lads from Fiji Bullabro. As I says, Felipe, so thank you very much for tuning in, mate, and hope you are enjoying the coverage that we have got. And we have got plenty more coming today, including Fiji versus Samoa, which is going to be just an absolutely incredible game of rugby. And also, I know, Mum, and there, as I says, David the Mob, but that is the perfect time to be able to score if you are Fiji, straight out in front of the posts for this one. And yes, go Fijiana, and go Fiji, go Fiji. Says Alisamiri. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Do let me know if I've got that wrong, though. I will try my best to correct it, but it wasn't a forehead kiss for Fiji. Instead, it was a kiss of the ball for Aluna Sal. And she has been able to get that one straight down the middle for the conversion. And the score now is sitting 12 points to 7 at halftime in this semi-final fixture. Also, we have got a new member to the channel. It is Sub, so thank you very much for hitting that member icon, mate. And also, hooray, says Grove there as well. And also, Fiji versus New Zealand is always entertaining. You have got that 100% correct. No matter what happens, you're always going to see these two sides clash, and they're going to go absolutely berserk in that second half as well. Go Manu, says Osaji. Hopefully I said that correctly. Sorry if I have got that wrong. Good evening. I won't be able to stay up for the final, says Nov Mum. That is completely understandable. It is a very late night one, and it is going to be at about 3:30 or actually 4 a.m. Thank you for broadcasting, says Alyssa Mary. No worries at all, mate. And it is hugely appreciated you guys all being here. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We do this every single 7 competition. We have got London the next week that we are going to be covering on the channel also. And alongside that, we have got a few previews and squad announcements that we do post based all around the sevens. And Cohen there says Krish, but currently in this game, it has 12 points to 7. Hopefully, okay, it is 12-7, but for some reason the scoreboard thinks it's 12-5. But Fiji are only 5 points behind currently, the way that it is sitting, in New Zealand are just about to kick off in the form of Pori Lane. And come on, Fiji, says Chris there. Yeah, both sides would love to be able to make their way through to the final. New Zealand have only lost twice on French soil. This one is one that they certainly won't want to be the third. But it certainly could be, because Fiji, at the end of the day, they are a very tough side to beat. The next game that has taken place, that is Ireland versus Australia. That will determine who the other side of the final will be. Pori Lane now kicks off for New Zealand, getting plenty of height. Portia Woman going after it, unable to take it, and it is taken beautifully there by the viewer. Now on the side of Nagasal, and the Fijiana, unfortunately, put down in the midfield. And that's the last thing they needed from Nakothi there. And also those London games are about 4 a.m. Hamish, says David. Yeah, I think it is going to be a very, very late one for us, but we will be at, hopefully, I know that with the URC not having their playoff games next week, it will be a little bit lighter on the schedule for us. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, we are going to be covering as many of those games as we can, similar to Toulouse. I believe those games will take place in the middle of the night. Go Bothy. And there as well, says Grove, but now going to the short side. It's going to be a nice run from Pori Lane. She has tackled low and she's dropped the ball. Aluna Sal, no, it's a penalty instead against the Fijians. And also women's final is 3:56, means at 4:26, says Krish there. And they are in New Zealand time, and we are covering them both, and that's better than 1 or 2 a.m., says David the Mod. And also we have got a new member. It is Patty. Hello, Patty. Welcome back, mate. So I guess, Patty, are you a silver or a gold badge at the moment? Do let me know. Portia Woodman now goes back across for New Zealand, hanging on to it very nicely. Wrestled down to the ground. Hanging on to it. New Zealand, 5.5 minutes with only a 5-point lead. This could make it more, though, if Michaela Bly can use her pace and her quick step and feet to go around Nakothe. Unable to, though, getting backwards driven, but now still running forward. Michaela Bly, it's one of those ones that unless you are dragged down, you might as well just keep on going. Well, returning member Silver, and there's us, says Patty. So, yeah, the gold badge, it must be relatively close, if I'm not wrong for you. And now it's going to be Pori Lane. Lot of pressure on her by Aluna Sal. Portia Woman plays halfback. Caleb Blyde now first receiver. She steps, finds the offload now off to Serahirani, who goes through. A missed tackle from Fijiana does mean New Zealand goes straight up the middle and score themselves their third try. He's a silver rider. And there's says David the Mod. Serahirani done very, very nicely. That is actually her very first try at Toulouse as well. And it couldn't have come at a more important time for New Zealand. And even with that 2-try buffer, I think Fiji are still well and truly in this game. They just need one try and they will be back. But she just breaks through, uses her power. I believe it was Silikofiti did end up missing that tackle. Instead of hitting, he goes in, scores the try, and also go Nasina Samoa next year, or Manu Samoa next year, says Bruce. In fact, actually, Samoa, I believe, if I'm not wrong, they have actually got a spot in the Pacific Nations Cup relatively soon for the union side of things. It's Samoa, Australia A, Fiji, and one other. And we are actually going to be covering that on the channel if it is on Sky here in New Zealand. So be sure to stick around for that if you are keen on some rugby union of all things Manu Samoa, all things Fiji, and also all things Kiwi. But now going to be going up, taken not so cleanly by Stacey Flula, and now it's back in the hands of Aluna Sau. Certainly not one of the biggest players out there, but she certainly packs a punch when she gets going. And it is going to be the Fijian line out now, or sorry, Fijian scrum for a little mistake from New Zealand. New Zealand are chasing their 34th final appearance and 4th consecutive in France is the stat that has just come up. But 3.5 minutes to make that dream a reality for the Black Ferns. And also we've got the Australian Women's after this. It certainly is. Australian Women's taking on Ireland in their other semi-final matches. And also we've got the Fiji are chasing the 3rd cup for their appearances, I think. It did just have, but now trying to break through. It's a good tackle made on Kavuru. Now Aluna Sau has to try and go backwards. Finds the pop pass up to Donu. Now offloads once again to Kavuru. This is looking good for the Fijians. And now it will be Nakothi getting covered by Kelly Brazier, who was just trying to slow it down a little bit. Pori Lane misses the tackle. So does Kaka. And now because of it, Nakothi, she will score the try between the posts. And like I mentioned, it only takes one to get the Fijians back in the game. And that could be their moment. But nicely done by Nakothi. 6 tries for her and Toulouse. And still another 2 minutes left in this game. This one is heating up. But like I mentioned, anytime these two sides play, it always goes down to the wire. And yes, Fijiana says Viniana there, and Grove has got the tongue out for that one as well. Brilliantly done by Nakothi. Was just able to spin out of about 2 or 3 tackles. Kaka missed. Then also alongside that was the initial tackle from Kelly Brazier that went down. Charlotte is up next. Says David there, and also yes, says Grove, who is a very happy man at the moment. Fiji, they convert. So now the score is going to be 14 points to Fiji women and also New Zealand on 19. And like they're saying, the Fijiana fans are loving it. The last 2 meetings have been level at full time. This game might be no different. It's Fiji, they are currently on 14, so an unsuccessful converted try, and also the clapping from Alisimiri and also Bloody Kaka. There's us, says Nazi, and also, but they are still sadly behind. Says Krish, that is very true, although still 90 seconds left and anything can happen. That's going to be, uh-oh. Okay, something has just happened. That's going to be a Fijian yellow card. That's massive because that will be now for the rest of the game. They have to play with 6. Come on, Fiji. Says Nathan and also Vanaka. Says Grove there, but unfortunately, Naima says she will be off the field for the rest of this matchup now. And that will be a brutal blow for the Fijians and also go Manu Samoa. And there says it was Fitai, or Fitai, hopefully I said that correctly. And Canterbury Rams beat Wellington Saints 95-84, or sorry, 89. And the other Saints, they haven't won a game yet, Hamish. And there's us, says Jeffrey, and also Grove has got the mind-blown emoji, and that is going to be now Serahirani going through. It's a foot race. I believe she is just going to make it. And New Zealand score the try, and I believe that will now secure their spot in the final. Unfortunately, just that one yellow card was the momentum shifter, and it gave New Zealand enough of an opportunity to be able to get themselves the try. And discipline, says David, they're exactly right. And Hirani, she went round with 6 against 7. You're always going to have some sort of gap there with the extra women available. And Serahirani was just that. Went straight through, and yes, New Zealand to the finals. And this is Rising, good game. says Grove. That's the thing. No matter what happens in these matches, we always know these two sides are here to entertain and certainly here to put on a good show. And I'm confident that whoever Fiji go up against in that bronze medal final, they should have a good chance of being able to get them. And also, we've got their game set a match, and also we've got their cute girl up. Next, did you say, says Battywagon, also Nathan Wong playing. She is not for this, I don't think for this whole round. Her name is not in the team sheet for the 12 that they have got. So I assume maybe injury might be playing a factor there. And also Wellington Saints play Manawatu Jets this Sunday. And also we have got there, why is the refs, if Fijiana's game. And yeah, that initial first, oh no. Okay, this doesn't look too good for Aluna Sal and Teresa Fitzpatrick. She will now be going to the bin for the next 2 minutes / I guess 5 seconds. And that's also how long it's left. And thank you, Fijiana, and congrats to New Zealand, says Ali Samiri. It was a great effort from both sides in this game. And like I mentioned, Fijiana, they will be playing again in the bronze medal final. Oh, it's a nice run down the wing. Her foot was in touch, though, unfortunately. So this try is not going to count for Retewa. In fact, Requifa? Maybe? I'm not too sure how to say that one. All refs biased against Fiji teams says I'm there. And yeah, they were a little bit unfortunate with one of those calls early on. That did seem like it was a knock on. But then from there, 10 points difference between these two sides. And also we've got that who will New Zealand face in the finals. The question to that answer, or the answer to that question, will be answered in only about 15 or so minutes time, as that is when Australia and Ireland will be finishing. But we are actually transferring over to that next live stream, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe and check out the Kiwi Lads Sport channel as well. It is our other channel that we have got, and we have got plenty more videos coming up over there. But I will put that link in the chat, and then be sure to pop back for the matchup taking place between Ireland and Australia. But thank you all very much for tuning in. And what happened in the Highlanders versus Waratahs game today, the Highlanders, they did end up losing by 10 points in that matchup. But I will be back in about 1 minute's time for the match between Ireland and Australia.